I've had a few days off work at the moment, doctor's orders, I'm afraid. And I've been told that I can't do so much physical work, but of course that leaves me free now to think about maybe doing more videos, which we're going to do in the future. And I want to talk to you today about libel, because I think it's quite important when it comes to social media. You will be aware that I posted fairly recently about an organisation in Essaouira who was selling soap made from donkey milk. And I expressed it in terms of it was my opinion that we didn't agree with the making of soap from donkey milk, and we weren't associated with that organisation. Now, you have to be very careful how you say things on social media, and it's a good moment, really, for a variety of reasons, for me to remind you. I'll remind you what the current law is and what the law is in Morocco. You will note that if I make a video, if I make a statement of fact, I always know that I have the evidence to back it up if I'm ever challenged. And of course, that became very important before the pandemic, or during the pandemic, when a charity in England attempted to sue me in the English courts for defamation. And as part of the correspondence that was sent to me, there were a stream of comments made by other people on my page. And I think the assertion was that I put them up to making those comments. So I can promise you I don't do that. That's not the way I behave. But of course, what is important, anyone who comments on my page, if I read it and I consider it to be libelous, I must remove it. Now, most comments that are made can be verified. And in fact, in the case to which I've just referred, when they tried to sue me, and a certain allegation was made that someone had posted something negative about that charity, but they hadn't realised the person who'd posted it had been a principal player in a very, very large charity in the UK, possibly larger than the charity that was bringing the complaint, had been the president for many, many years, and certainly would have not made that comment unless he had evidence to back it up, or it was an opinion. Now, a defence against libel or slander or any defamation is, firstly, anything you say must be truthful, and secondly, an opinion is a defence against defamation. And defamation is fairly universal across the whole world, that defamation is making a statement that is not true and is alleging a fact against someone that is intended to demean them or lower them in the light of other individuals. That's a sort of fairly rough guide of what defamation is about. Now, I've just mentioned that I have a duty, if I run a page, to make sure that people who post on my page that nothing they write is defamatory. As I've said, on most occasions, it's a statement of fact, and I would expect those people to be able to verify that fact or opinion if ever challenged. But I'm always very clear that statements I make, I can back up with evidence. Now, fairly recently, allegations were made in the court here in Morocco that I had defamed. It's actually another vet. I had defamed, libelled a vet who worked for another charity by not removing a post that had been made on my page. And the post to which he referred, and it is a he, was actually criticising something that he said in respect of a donkey that had been taken to that charity. Now, that's being investigated by the gendarmerie. But the irony is, as the story unfolds, we discover that the statement that was made with the person who made it is prepared to make a statement under oath that what she said was truthful. So that's an absolute defence against libel or slander. And secondly, the post hadn't been made on my page. It had been made on a page by somebody else who had shared another post from somewhere else. So I, in fact, wasn't in the frame at all. And hopefully that will all be fully investigated by the gendarmerie. Now, you may ask, why are the gendarmerie investigating it? Well, if somebody makes an allegation of defamation in the Moroccan courts, the law recently changed in Morocco that any defamatory comment, if proven, is a criminal offence. It's not a civil offence as it would be in the UK. So, of course, if I was found guilty of a criminal offence, it may in fact affect my right to stay in Morocco. It's all pretty interesting stuff, really. But what I want to say to you is, please don't be afraid to comment or comment on anything I say, as long as your statement is firstly truthful or a genuine opinion. And of course, if you are in another country, as in fact the case I've just referred to you, the person who shared the post is in Geneva, so the case would have to be brought in Geneva. But my best advice to people who feel they have been subject to a defamatory remark on Facebook is to deal with it through Facebook. Because on the Facebook pages, you can make a complaint, and very often they don't come to anything. Facebook say, well, it conforms with our community guidelines. But if you make it perfectly clear it's a defamatory statement, they now have quite a sophisticated setup where they will investigate, and they also are responsible for any defamatory statements made on their page. I hope that's clear. It's not easy in a very short video to explain what the understanding of defamation is. But again, if you take away from it, it is if you make a statement that is untrue and intended to be malicious or to lower the reputation of the individual in the eyes of others, it can be considered as defamatory. But I promise you, I am very careful about what I say. And I'm one of those people that is quite outspoken. I don't just come on Facebook and say, oh, here's a pretty donkey, please make a donation. I don't do that. I tell it as it is. And if I tell it as it is, I have to be extra careful that anything I say can be backed by evidence. Okay, expect some more videos soon because I now have a bit of time on my hands. Bye for now.